Hello and welcome to the Sheep Seats. I am your host, Matthew, aka Sheep, aka Dark Sheep. What is up, everybody? We are going to be drafting some playoff football teams tonight, and we are going to be rolling through a couple different groups of guests. And first up, we have some Deposit Kingdom royalty here. We got Chris G, Steph Miller. They got their Twitter handles there. You can also find Steph's work over at Legendary Upside now, right, Steph?
Yes, I'm doing some stuff over there, and Chris is over there too. We both are.
All right, I missed that. Sorry, Chris.
It's all good. I like to keep it all on the down low, I guess. I do a little bit of 4x4, do a little bit of leg up, and I'm having a blast over in both places. It's great.
Yeah, excellent. So welcome. This is your first time here on the Sheep Seat, so it's great to have you. I don't know. We're just hanging out. We're going to draft some underdog teams, I think, tonight. Where are you guys at right now, Chris? Are you? I think you might be done with your drafting there.
Yeah, I'm pretty much wrapped up. I maxed the gauntlet. I maxed a couple of the small entry ones like the Summit and the little gauntlet as well, like the 10 max, 15 max. Doing a couple on redacted, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty much done.
And Steph, what about you? Where are you at in your draft process?
Well, I have to work more. Unfortunately, can't draft all day. So I've got about 150 teams, but just over across of kind of like everything. I didn't have a chance to max, especially some of those smaller ones. They always release during the workday, so it makes it hard. But I've got a pretty good mix. I might try to do a few more when we hop off and see if there's any teams or anything I want to make sure that I get a combo of.
Yeah. So did you guys shoot for specific numbers of combos of teams, or do you just sort of draft and now you kind of end up where you're at?
Yeah, I kind of like to attack, like, depending on where I'm at. Like, I do have exposure to all the teams, but the ones I ended up the most with are usually the teams that people are passing on. So, like, for example, I have a lot of combos with San Francisco, the bye week players that no one really wanted early on, and combine them usually with like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco. And my percentages and my exposures really want either a Kansas City, San Francisco Super Bowl or Cleveland, Baltimore. Cleveland, San Francisco Super Bowl, just because they're just so easy to stack towards the end of the contest. A little bit of Houston, a little bit of Buffalo. Got Buffalo early, and then I backed off when the prices got too high.
Steph, what about you?
I do, unfortunately, a lot of double bye week teams, so my advance rate might take a hit, but I'm aware of that. Kind of similar. I also have a lot of like Browns in San Francisco, a little bit of Houston, San Francisco. I have a lot of Dallas Ravens also. A little bit of Detroit. I'm not quite as heavy on them, especially with some of the recent injuries. I do have a few super stacks of some of the other teams that have fallen, you know, just in case, you know, some like really big like Miami and Philly, you know, especially as they got cheap. Similar, I kind of drafted Bills a little earlier, so I'm not going ham right now while they're super expensive in these later contests. So I think we pretty close on our philosophies overall. I don't track necessarily like to a T everything. I just go with what teams I think have the best chance and where the best values are at the moment.
Got it. Yeah. So as I've been deep in on the baseball side of things, I just started drafting this week, so I missed out on that cheap Bills opportunity. So I'm ending up with a lot of Houston and Tampa, and then mixing the early rounds kind of teams with those guys. So yeah,
I think one of my favorite, my new top 101s to feel like this is CeeDee Lamb right now. He's just makes it so much easier to build out your team. Makes it so much easier to build out your team.
I don't believe you.
Exactly.
I did.
So wait, you've taken him 101.
I pulled this out for you, Steph. By the way, my bottle cozy.
Oh, the Green Bay. Yeah. Well, enjoy it because you guys are not going to win. No.
You get one day to use it. All right.
Yeah,
So
I really think. Yeah, go ahead. Which one are we?
yeah,
doing?
you can keep talking. We're just gonna get right into the drafts, and we're gonna do a gauntlet here and gauntlet 2. And yeah.
So I really think that CD just gives you so much flexibility. You know, when you draft him, you don't have to worry about the wild card spot. Maybe Zay Flowers and or Kelsey falls back to you, even past the Lamar guy, because sometimes they let it scoot by. And you got the 1 seed on the AFC side along with the 2 seed on the NFC side. You can just build out that way. And you can be a thorn in literally the Baltimore drafters side and just dominate.
Yeah, I do like that combo, and I've gotten it several times. The CDZ will fall to you. And I mean,
you can do CD Tyreek. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, trust me, I have some full on, like with every single Miami guy, including, I mean, I saw in the draft yesterday, Mostert and Tua and Waddle went undrafted. But of course I had KC. And so I was like, no, I can't do that because, it didn't make sense for the team. And I try to avoid if I think teams that are going to meet in round 2, because in here, it's important to build for those conference championships as well.
Yeah, so we do get.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We do get the 1-1 here. I think probably the toughest one, because if you go CMC, you're likely not getting anyone back. So it really puts you in a weird place. So I do kind of like that idea of maybe starting with a CD here.
It just gives you so much flexibility.
I've never done it.
You got like a 20-point score. It just makes a lot of sense. It's tough. It's tough to pass on CMC, but you have to build out a great team to get them through, and one of the Super Bowl aspirations on the AFC side. So go for it.
Yeah, and for me, we were in a very similar position doing all the MLB playoff stuff because the Braves at that point were being drafted by like 3 different people. In the first 2 rounds, like all the guys you wanted. And it's pretty much the same thing. Like I've seen drafts, with 4 different people taking 49ers in the first 2 rounds. Like people can't lay off.
I hope you don't get your feelings hurt that we can't draft any Packers on this team now.
Oh, no.
Taking Cowboys because they played the first round there. So
no,
that bet.
That is perfectly fine. I'm not that big of a fan. I've played fantasy long enough. So this is how I do it. I don't know if it's right, but I just go and because I'm usually, as you said, maybe drafting while I'm also working. So I'll make sure to like star everybody on stacks I'm trying to build. And for me, I don't know, like I can quick look over in the player pool and just look for stars and like, not that I want to auto draft or anything, but I can look to see who's upcoming.
Can we pull the board up?
Yes, sir.
Sorry. Yeah, because I want to watch and see how far we could push things. And I'm sure Chris likes we kind of see sometimes if there's rational drafters or some loose cannons here.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the only kind of weird thing is Debo going 3rd.
It happens a lot. So this guy was really hoping for probably Ayuk or Purdy to fall, and now he's going to get stuck with Kittle, and the 2 slot guy is going to be our wild card. Usually,
he could take Ravens too. So he takes Dak from us. Fun.
Okay,
that's very peculiar because San Francisco and he's picked his 2 NFC guys now, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Right,
I mean, they do maybe meet in the conference, so
let's pick.
Yeah, there is a bet on KC there.
Do we want to make a pivot to Kansas, or what are you guys thinking?
I for sure am going to take Tony Pollard here. I think.
Sure.
And then the question for me
do you want to wait and push
Zay or Tyreek?
I would pick Tyreek because there's no chance to get the quarterback, and you need to start building out those stacks.
True.
That
Do
would
we
be
really-
my. No, go ahead. Finish up.
I was just gonna say, if we take Miami, though, we might be committing to Tua eventually because the way
it's either
it
that or
falls
Mahomes.
on that
You take-
side. That's where
you
I
take-
was kind of going originally, was like doing the double Mahomes and a pass catcher maybe, but
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to pass on Tony Pollard because you can get Rico Dotto a little bit later, and then maybe you'll get. But it's totally fine. You thought about Pollard, and that's important.
oh
So,
no, there's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah, and I did, like, I started this week or whatever drafting, and then I started watching some content, and a little bit later in the week, I was like, oh, I'm doing this way different than everybody else. So I'm not surprised to learn that everybody has a little bit different take on it.
What I kind of like with your commitment to Miami is no one's taking Miami now. You've taken Tyreek, no one's going to take it. You have this guy that already took Dak, so he's going to have to commit sometime to these Dallas Cowboy players. So you can open yourself up to a second NFC team. Like if Kyron Williams falls, you can take him and make a bet on that, and then you're having Tua as your quarterback. Because I guarantee you can get Tua and all these other Miami Dolphin guys like 7, 8, 9, 10. Like they're not going to go anymore.
Yeah,
they're going so late. It's amazing because a few weeks ago, like I was trying to get Tyreek at like the 3 spot, and it was like near impossible. And now it's like I've seen him fall to like round 4 or 5 sometimes. Like, I mean, people are really spooked on Miami right now.
Yeah, and here's the bad weather there. Seems like
Trust me, fade the weather.
It seems like they're not moving the game, which was like some people were starting to already wish for that. But yeah, I'm totally with you that I'm not going to worry about the weather. All right, so we're on the clock. We do get that Kyron Williams idea.
I think you should take it.
Yeah,
so,
that's unique. I like that call with doing it with the Rams.
And
he could score a lot of points, even if they don't win. I mean, that's something that could, in case that Miami game is a dud, maybe then they could cover, and then the next round Miami could go off, assuming they win.
So
depending on your preference, Achane or Cup. I would probably take Cup because no one's going to take Miami, in my opinion.
Yeah, okay.
I agree with pushing it. And if worse comes to worse, there's still Mostert to fall back on.
Yeah, and even then, worse comes to worse, we can, like, somebody randomly gets into Miami, we always have Matt Stafford just hanging out there just in case.
Yeah, it gives us another option. And as long as we have enough for the Super Bowl, we're good.
So right now we got 2 on the NFC for each team, so it's 4. And then you got our Tyreek pick, which we should be able to build out here on the next turn. So we should be good right at the 6-7 turn if it goes where we hope. Achane or Mostert, like Steph said, and then Tua if you want. I think you can even push it even more if you want to take like a Brandon Cooks or Jake Ferguson.
So we did get a Mostert pick here, but that's fine. We still have Achane.
Well, scroll down. I want to look at his team again. I just want to see if he's. Yeah, he's not. I don't see why he's taking Mostert on that team.
Yeah, I'm not sure at all. It's not like it's not even like he's trying to get an advance rate running back because he's got James Cook or like a first.
Well, and he's got mostly AFC, so I mean that doesn't really make a lot of sense the way he's building that out. So he might be someone we have to watch for because he might just be now grabbing guys on ADP or who knows. I'm not sure what his method is at the moment, but
yeah, and this person at the end takes Cooks from that Dallas part, which is pretty weird considering they don't have Dak. They have San Francisco.
He's looking for advance rate pieces, high upside guys. So
yeah, he's going to go Browns.
San Francisco guys.
He's going to get Flacco to go with Lamar, or is that Lamar team?
I think
Purdy. I mean, sorry.
Sorry, Sheep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really think of Brandon Cooks as a high advance rate guy. Maybe I'm wrong there. I take a lot of Nico Collins at that part of the draft as an advanced rate guy. So yeah, we do have A-Chain here, which seems like a no-brainer. And then we're totally done with running back for sure.
No more.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So then the question is, do we want Ferguson, or I think we can probably push Waddle.
Yeah.
Berg Daddy.
Let's get Ferguson. I mean, they have a good, but I think the Cowboys could be good advanced rate players because it's probably one of the higher total games and it's in a dome. We're talking about weather. So, there could be a lot of guys that don't score a lot of points in some of those other games. And if Dallas goes off, they all can.
Yeah. Chiefs team's looking really good. He's got, like you're talking about the dome stuff. He's got the Rams. He's got the Dallas team. Yeah. He's got just the only bad weather we got is Miami, which is their coldest game they're ever going to play in tomorrow. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I think the only real small negative is that we have the Rams and Cowboys together. Obviously you might prefer if you're doing another wild card team in the NFC, you might want somebody from that other part of the bracket, but I don't think that's
What's interesting is, though, if the Rams win and they beat Detroit, right, they're not going to play the Cowboys. They're going to play San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
They can avoid it. So there is a way for them to avoid it. But typically, other than that, you're right. Rams, I do a lot of times take as my only NFC team for that reason. But
there's me showing my NFL playoff knowledge. I did not realize they reseeded. And I feel like I should know that because everybody was surprised in the baseball playoffs when they didn't reseed it. And all the new people that came over this year from football to baseball were a little bit confused. And now here I am on the other side.
No, it's all good. So, yeah, because what our process is, we want the Cowboys to win because we're drafting CD. They're going to beat the Packers, the 7th seed, so they're going to play the winner of the 4 and 5 seed. And then our projection is that the Rams win, the Rams are going to play San Francisco, meaning Dallas. We're hoping for a Dallas-LA Rams conference championship with a Miami Super Bowl.
Yeah, so there's some upsets in this lineup, but I mean, none of those are that unrealistic. I mean, would you be that surprised if the Bills lost? Would you be that surprised if the Rams won? I mean, I think San Francisco losing maybe is the biggest one, but definitely the early one's on. So
we do.
Let's go ahead and you want to do Waddle or Tua and just lock it up in case.
Well, Waddle and Tua.
Yeah, we'll grab them both.
Yeah,
just to be safe. I find it's way different than season long. I don't try to push things quite as much, even though you see both of those guys sometimes go undrafted, but at this point, there's not really another person we're taking that it fits into our scheme more.
Well, we don't have enough room to really pivot much. I mean, we could have done the Rams, but that wouldn't have worked as well.
Yeah, there's not really a Rams player that you want. So yeah, this is sort of the question. How do you like to build a CMC team? And Chris did answer. Try and get a falling Mahomes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I pair it a lot with Mahomes too, or Cleveland are usually the way I go as well.
So you got to keep in mind, I'm also thinking from the perspective of the Gauntlet 1, where the Gauntlet was an open, long period of contest. So getting these CMC teams with falling quarterbacks is what I want to do because there probably is already combinations out there of better teams, which I have some of them. So, getting these quarterbacks early is kind of knifing yourself, in my opinion, you're just hurting yourself. So
depends on the contest.
Yeah, exactly. Gauntlet 2 is anything goes right now because it's already been drafted right now. So
yeah, I really like that Summit contest that they put out, the $10 10 max one. I did end up maxing that one just because it was such a short period of time and a smaller field. I don't really love playing these huge fields. in football, just because I feel like I don't have quite the edge that I do in baseball. So
No, it makes sense.
Well-
I really messed up on the summit actually because I wasn't drafting any Josh Allen because I was like still like brain damaged from the original gauntlet. I was like, oh, I got enough Josh Allen, and I should have been like, you know what? Maybe I should have been taking him in the first round. So,
all right, I guess we didn't.
I like Tolbert
Okay,
as the Cowboys fan. He's been playing over Gallup a lot, and he's been coming on lately.
yeah, they're 50-50 in snaps. And the only other thing I would consider is maybe like Higby. That might be too thin. So Tolbert's probably better. Honestly.
yeah, and we don't need that.
We don't need another tight end, I don't think. We already have.
All right. So
I like it.
Yeah, that this is really annoying that they have two different.
You got to refresh
now.
You might have to refresh.
Oh,
too,
yep.
if it's a new contest.
It is. That was my first gauntlet too. I was practicing today with some mitten.
Now you got to go back. There you go.
Which one is it? No,
The second one.
there we go.
I've had these last couple of days, I've had some rooms that were ridiculous that have just blown everything up. So that one at least went pretty smooth. I mean, we had a few guys that I was a little worried about, but stayed in their lanes for the most part.
We do have future guests later on in the show, Michael, in there sticking to his lane. So it helps to know that. So yeah, we ended up with a Tua only build. Sorry, Rally. It's only a one quarterback build. Yeah. And then we got Dallas and Rams stacks, Pollard, Lamb, Ferguson, and Tolbert for Dallas, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp for our Rams pieces, and then that Miami portion is Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. So that went pretty well. Let's roll another one with you guys here.
Hopefully, what's really good about that team is that there's no bye week players. So our likelihood to advance into the next round is going to be a lot higher because we have so many places playing. It's and like Steph said, the high total. So shout out for that. It's absolutely right.
Yeah. I'm not used to that. I usually end up with tons of bye week plays and especially on like Mitten 4 where it's 3.
Yeah.
Is it 4 or 5? Whatever Mitten, the newest Mitten.
Yeah.
It's the 3 advance rate.
Well,
I'm really pushing it.
So Matt, what do you like to do here? What do you think, man? What do you think? You think you're gonna stick CeeDee Lamb or are you gonna try something different?
I think just for the fun of it, we'll try something different.
Let's let Matt pick, and then we can just roll from there without giving input.
For sure.
All right. The weird thing is that if you're fading, or if you're like uncomfortable taking Christian McCaffrey 1, if he falls to you at 2, it's not really that much better.
I always take Christian McCaffrey, so this was the first time I did it. But Chris has probably a lot of exposure, like he says, in combinations that are super strong where he doesn't feel like he needs to. So there's definitely nothing wrong with taking Christian McCaffrey here.
Yeah, we're gonna do it because I have not done it much. So
and we also pick now before the 1 spot, so we could get another 49er to fall back. Because if you get Purdy to fall back with him, you take that.
Yeah, I have not seen that happen. I know people claim that they have, but I have not.
No, I've gotten still 3 49ers and stuff falling together every time, once in a while. And the rooms, you never know. I mean, these are probably a little sharper.
I had a few teams with McCaffrey, Purdy, and Kittle. The problem is sometimes I drafted Jacksonville players with them, and sometimes I drafted Gabe Davis or Sam Laporta or AJ Brown. I mean, that's what happens when you draft so early. You know, you get these really sick combos, but then injuries happen. So.
And there's a very interesting dynamic here. By taking, or the first person taking Lamar, we can cut them on Zay Flowers and play for that both by team Super Bowl.
So I'm not
Except we
really,
won't have a quarterback.
I'm not really a fan of that because we don't have a quarterback option.
Yeah.
Yes, good point.
Because in this one, I think like sometimes it would work in certain contests that were like a lower advance rate, maybe where nobody was going to get through a double bye week team, and you could do it. But here, I think people is going to have those combinations.
All right. So
They're
is this where we take Mahomes?
Take Kelsey first, or any Kansas City piece you want.
I like to take probably either Pacheco or Rice, and I've had Kelsey fall far.
Yeah. I think there's enough fear around Kelsey that I'm not too worried. So I'll take the 2 running backs here.
This
I feel like you need Pacheco. Rice is a 1. Kelsey is a high 1. I mean, but you could always. I mean, there's other pass catchers where there's not another running back you want. I don't think without Rice. I mean Pacheco, even though I do sometimes double it.
So do you push Mahomes here then? Or do you
I didn't look at the room enough. I'd be safe maybe just for the fact that we're here, but by myself sometimes I might push it.
Take
what
Mahomes,
do you think, Chris?
The 5 spot's a wild card.
Yeah.
The 5 spots.
As I said, I didn't look close enough to see. I was hoping you got a good look.
And even number 4 is a bit of a wild card here, taking Kittle after everybody else is gone.
No, he won't do it. I know that guy. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, he's smart. Yeah, I know. I know those. I know 2 people in here.
Yeah, the 4 and 6 are going to stay in their lane. The 6 team could have took Mahomes as well because he might do. Since we took Pacheco, he would have took either Kelsey or Rice and Mahomes to build on his second side. So taking Mahomes was the right pick. Now we might be able to get both back because the 1 seed should not take Kansas City player yet.
Yeah, the 2 guys won't, but we have a little wild card in there, so.
Yeah, look at the 5 team. Took unstacked Dak Prescott.
But that's also far for Dak to fall from what I've seen the last few days. So maybe, and you still can stack it. So he could recover. So I'm not going to say that that's that crazy right now, the way is it?
Well, that's great.
There's been the quarterbacks going, now that's crazy. Now we can officially say he doesn't know what he's doing. Or the matchups for week 1.
We're going to take Rashee Rice here for sure.
Yeah, pretty simple. We did lose Kelsey, but I'm not too super worried about that.
I've been taking Rice over Kelsey, honestly.
I also have been.
I'd like 50-50.
But I've been able to get Kelsey to fall back more often.
That's all right. Absolutely true.
So now, where do you start looking now?
Pick a NFC team.
You want it? We could do Cowboys. There's Cooks there.
I'll let you pick whatever NFC team you want to go with.
All right.
I don't think AJ Brown's playing Monday, but
yeah, I wouldn't do AJ Brown.
You don't think he's playing? Okay.
No.
Yeah, that did seem to be because he didn't practice at all this week, right?
And he's apparently deleted his affiliation on Instagram or Twitter, one of them with the team.
Yeah,
not looking. The vibes are bad.
It seemed like he's having some issues this whole season from some of the reporting that's been done. So I don't know if that's really too telling more than in addition to what's already been going on.
So I don't think interesting if he takes Ferguson because he's been all over the place.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he's knows that we're out. I guess he just doesn't care about round 1 matchups because I tend to avoid Detroit when I take a Cowboy, but that's just me.
I take him sometimes, but not the way he's taking them. Just it ends up at the end. I did before Laporta got injured, I was taking Laporta and Jameson. So I'm like, I'll have 2 people going to the next round no matter what. I'm not as stringent as Sack is on.
No, but I do a lot of double bye-week teams as well. So I do those things on those teams where I'm just get someone advanced, and I have a lot of Jameson as well. So he better do something.
What's your read on Mark Andrews being activated? Seems like he could play or not.
I think he will definitely play in the Super Bowl. How effective he will be, I'm not sure. And I don't know if they'll risk him coming back before then. I think they might save him.
I'm scared. I got shit. I got none, zero.
I have a lot, so I'm not worried. I alternate those back end Raven guys. I mean, I take tons of Ravens, so I do have a good amount of Mark Andrews mixed in with my Lamar stacks, where I'm already betting them to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm not using him as an advanced rate on teams where it's like, well, it wouldn't necessarily break this team the way it falls, and the upside would be immense.
All right, so I'll admit I'm a little bit lost here with that Dallas pick. We're sort of nobody really here up at the top really is of super interest to us. So are we scrolling down?
Yep,
Yes.
Just worry about our team at this point, not really ADP. Just what makes sense for us.
Just put in the little magnifying glass, type in Dallas or type in Chiefs or 49ers, and just take a look at what you got. I would probably pass on that. I'd go to Chiefs or 49ers.
Chiefs,
that's who I would take, probably Justin Watson.
Yeah, I agree.
And then check 49ers. You got a 10-4. Yeah.
I mean, we got Mitchell, Jennings, and Mason and Bell, but they're all late.
Queue up Jennings as well.
All right.
Thought we were supposed to stop taking him. I have an obscene amount.
Who said that?
It's one of those. We just always keep tacking on. Well, I have Ronnie Bell too, so I really can't talk. I have a lot of ancillary guys.
You got a choice here. You can take more Chiefs, so you can have 4-1 in the Super Bowl, or you can take Juwan, whatever you want.
I think we still have an opportunity to take a Chief later.
Yes.
We have a chance to take all these guys later. It really doesn't matter the order.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of just your preference.
So the guy.
Do you have a favorite, Chief?
I've actually been going down to Ray McLeod a bit on San Francisco stacks.
I have not taken him
for a kickoff return sort of touchdown scenario.
All right,
outlier, but when you're trying to build San Francisco, all those guys are major outliers.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken Kyle, I've taken Juice before. I mean, I've taken some stuff, but I haven't. I mean, there's nothing wrong with when you're building out these big stacks taking a guy, because in the Super Bowl you may only need a couple points. Just being the only person with them could be the difference.
Yeah.
Hey, highlight Berg's comment real quick.
Yeah.
So the reason why Berg, I don't like this is because if CMC tweaks his calf, your team's dead anyways. So I'm literally just taking the risk. If CMC goes down, my team's absolutely dead. So I'm just banking that into my play.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mitchell is really for a team that doesn't have CMC.
Yeah, and a lot of times then I may double Mitchell Mason or something if I don't, and I'm building it.
So we have 3 picks left. Are you fitting in another Dallas guy here?
We could.
Yes, but you can take it in the 10th round, in my opinion.
Okay.
You could take Gallup, Tolbert, even Turpin if you want to get that.
Turpin, yeah. For if you want to keep doing returners, guys that can do the double dips.
I would do 2 Chiefs here and just pick any 2 Chiefs you want.
Yep. I mix them up. I take literally all the Chiefs. At some point.
I don't have much Mecole Hardman, so we'll just take him. And
then he's my favorite one.
Okay. Expand on that.
So in the early,
no one else takes him.
Yeah, no one else takes him. And the fact that when he was playing with Kansas City prior, he was just he was doing really well until he got injured. The fact, obviously, it doesn't bode well that they cut him from the team and traded him or whatever, but they traded back for him. So
So, yeah.
His snap's the bit down.
Yeah, so
He's just
here
a dart throw.
it's Richie James or MVS.
I take both.
I've seen MVS drop too many passes as a Packers fan that I have very hard time picking him. All right.
He had a big game last year, and what was it, the divisional or conference? He got a lot of teams through last year. Everybody that had made it to the finals had MVS on it, it seems like.
Yeah, he was like 2 years ago, Gabe Davis. He went off for like 20-something points.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we'll just fit in one of these guys. I'm just going to turn this on auto. We did Tolbert last time. We'll put Turpin because we have our next group of people here joining us. So we will thank Chris and Steph. Oh, we'll cut everybody out here. We'll add in the whole group here. The next up we have Neil and Matt. So I did want to. We had a big group here. Just a fun question. So going around, starting with Chris. What's the thing that I think you already said that you least want to happen in the playoffs based on what you've drafted so far?
Oh, Kansas City losing in round one. That would be like disastrous for me. Disastrous.
Steph?
A Cowboys loss would be disastrous on so many levels, personally and for my portfolio. So,
Neil?
Bills making the Super Bowl would absolutely kill me, mostly for weekly winners where I built out like every likely Super Bowl scenario, but I did it before the Bills became a real threat. So now I don't have any Bills built out, and that would just absolutely destroy me.
And Matt?
Detroit making a run. I loaded up on Rams, so Detroit making a run would obviously kill that of being a viable option.
All right. So thank you, Chris and Steph, for joining me. And I obviously learned things from too late here, like reseeding and all that good stuff in the playoffs. But thank you for coming, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so here we are, segment number 2. We're running a little bit behind. We got 2 drafts in last time. We'll probably shoot for that again here. Matt, the FF Child, you'll find him on Twitter at that. And Neil Orfield here. Neil, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I know you have started your own YouTube channel. So you want to shout that out?
I mean, you can find it on my Twitter. I post, I think it's at NCOrfield8K, which is my DraftKings username. Otherwise, you can just go to my Twitter at PlayerQDFS. It's one of my most recent tweets. I tweeted it out.
Yeah, right. I subscribed today.
Oh, so thank you. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of your content. So I feel like I'm on here with like a celebrity. This is
well, you're not.
Recent events have said that maybe he's not. Yeah. But we won't get into that. We're here to have some fun, draft some playoff teams. So where are you guys at? I started with the other people. Where are you guys at with your draft? Are you done drafting? You do some more drafts? Matt?
Yeah, I'm about 140 deep. Probably won't do too many more than that. I'm sure I'll get bored tomorrow morning and have the itch to sprinkle some in, but I'm not going to drastically shift any of my exposures at this point. So probably about tapered out.
I just I did a couple more drafts today, and then I had $15 left in my Underdog account, so I did a pick'em slip, and as you may know, I am recently unemployed, so maybe I'll get the itch tomorrow, maybe I'll add back to it, but try and not do it this way. I think I'm done.
Okay, so the other question, just more generally throughout the whole season, did you have like a certain thing that you did differently from the beginning and then sort of shifted to the end
for playoff best ball drafts?
Yeah. So, did you draft much when teams weren't everything wasn't known? I personally just started drafting this week because I've been so deep in baseball already. So, I'm curious how you've treated this season so far and how you've shifted some of your strategies.
Yeah, my early strategy was to draft a bunch of players from teams that are now eliminated. So that has changed. I drafted a ton of Jaguars and Seahawks early on. And it was at the time, it was like I was following sites. They were like 75 to 80% chance of making the playoffs. The Bills had like a 20% chance of making the playoffs. They were drafted in every single draft. So I was just like, okay, I'm not going to draft the Bills. Everybody else is doing it. They're probably not going to make the playoffs. And got a big old slap in the face. So now, I mean, yeah, factoring in things like first round matchups, potential like likely second round scenarios with the reseeding, which is also something that I had not thought much about. So yeah, I think just adjusting to knowing the brackets and trying not to have teams facing each other too early on has been my adjustment.
Yeah, Rams were a big one for me early to place a bet on. So that's worked out pretty well. And I was also early on the Bills. I've been drafting essentially since the start. But lately, it's just like adjusting for the teams that are falling, right? So the Eagles are falling, so I've been loading up on Eagles. The Dolphins have been falling, loading up on Dolphins. So I'm just kind of letting the room dictate. And like this week, I feel like all I've done is like Debo with a Dolphins onslaught just over and over and over and over again, just because it's so easy to get. And I'm not going to try to outthink what's going to happen. If that's what they're going to give to me, then I'm just going to take that, and then I'm just going to hope that that's what hits.
You kind of follow up there, Neil. You had said that you had tried to get every Super Bowl combination for weekly winners. Did you try to do a similar thing for the other types of tournaments?
No, so I drafted more weekly winners than actual playoff best ball, just because it is so much tougher for playoff best ball, and weekly winners is so new. And I could see that most people are drafting without, I think, any kind of strategy. Like a ton of people did weekly winners without any real strategy. So I really had I want to focus on specific rounds. So, and I adjusted. I think I started with my idea going in was I'm not going to draft. I'm going to draft for the second, third, and Super Bowl. I'm not going to draft for the first round because there's more games, more teams. I think it's tougher to win that than when the pool condenses of teams that you can have available. So I wish that I had started like right off the bat drafting only 4 Super Bowl scenarios and drafting like just 10 players from 2 teams, one AFC, one NFC, drafted for Super Bowls. I didn't do that immediately. But yeah, I have not done every single scenario for playoff best ball. I haven't drafted enough. But yeah, I was trying to do that for weekly winners. And like I said, I didn't include the Bills in the likely Super Bowl team, so didn't get any of those combos.
Yeah. And that's a really sharp move there to, focus on what you think is people are the worst at. So we're going to jump into a gauntlet here. And need a couple of people, and we'll just sort of see how it goes. We are currently, 61%. I don't think they'll have any problem filling that.
No,
especially once the mitten closes.
Matt, where did you get this Underdog sweatshirt?
So 2 years ago now, they had a special, Underdog did, where they were doing special pick'ems for March Madness. But I wasn't at the time living in a state where you could do that. So they're like, if you aren't in an eligible state, fill out this form. You can enter to win tickets to the national championship game. So I actually won tickets through Underdog to go to the North Carolina, Kansas March Madness final game. And they sent us a bunch of swag to wear down there. So I'm pretty well loaded up.
Yeah, that's really cool. I told the story on my stream the other night that I have been told like twice that Drafters was going to send me a t-shirt, and I feel like they're just trolling me because they've never actually sent me a t-shirt. And somebody responded that Underdog would hook me up, and I'm like, I've never seen a place like how to get Underdog swag. So I have zero.
The only stuff that I have is just because they sent it to me to wear down to New Orleans. So it was that was awesome. A heck of an experience.
Yeah, I do have my one Brewers themed Underdog shirt, and that was just from Rudman, just from being in his DMs and promoting the baseball product. So
nice.
Yeah, it's hard to get.
And a Brewers themed Underdog shirt.
Well, the
colors, right?
The colors. The bag claimed to say that it was LA Rams, but I think they just misspelled Brewers.
Yeah, of course.
But do you guys have a spot that you do like in drafts right now, or ever, or just do whatever?
I think in season long, you end up falling in love with a spot or two. In the playoff best ball, it can fall for you nicely, and it can get pretty chaotic from anywhere. So I don't really have a preference when it comes to these contests.
All right. So
but this is Debo here for me every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is why I'm glad to get a bunch of people in tonight. This is a really tough. These first rounds are tough for me because for me, in my brain, it's really hard to want to take any San Francisco player because they're always being split between 3 drafters. I don't know if this is my baseball playoff mind affecting my football and how the playoffs, but the idea that if you faded San Francisco completely, you're set up well if they lose in the first game they play, just overall. So
yeah. My lean would be Kittle here, but I don't know if you want to start setting up something from the AFC. I'm just thinking since we've already made the bet on San Francisco, might as well take the last.
Yeah, we can do Kittle. I normally do Tyreek here and just set up Dolphins all the way through because you can get all of them, but Kittle is fine.
Yeah. So I'm Kittle here definitely, but I definitely get what you're saying. Also, we just built a Miami team, so who's to say the way Miami's falling, who knows? We could still get Tyreek.
Yeah, I've seen him come back in the late third. Not in too many of my drafts because I'm normally taking him in the second.
Well, it's a recent thing that he can fall a little bit more than he had been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome, Billy. He was our guest last week doing some awesome data work in baseball. So Neil, here's it was Vaporware that shouted you out.
Yep. Appreciate you, Vaporware. What was I going to say? I feel like I had. So in that last spot, I was going to say, I think because we had the 3 receivers there all available for San Francisco, I think I typically would take Purdy first and then just see what comes back to me. But I think that's also because maybe I don't differentiate enough between Debo and Ayuk in particular. Like those two, I'm like, to me, it's like a toss up, which maybe it isn't. Okay. Tyreek came back. I mean, this is beautiful.
Yeah,
we both got what we wanted.
Yeah, this is great.
I did. I got him in the queue, but I did try that once, Neil, and then the person at the end just takes Ayuk and Debo, and then you have Brock Purdy and George Kittle, and you're feeling pretty down.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. It's a little bit tough. Purdy is a little bit tough because then you need a second quarterback. That makes it a little bit difficult.
Yeah. It's but for me, the second quarterback is Stroud. I have a lot of Houston exposure. But yeah, so we do get
so this is where I would push up Mostert.
So
I don't try to get cute
over H-E?
I'm the same way typically.
Yeah.
Okay, I have no problem with that. And I'm just going to cue the rest. As we're here looking at it, are you guys dipping any further past Tua in the Miami stacks?
Occasionally, not lately.
Yeah, not when we do it this way because you can get all of them with the Niner, and then you're already 6 deep. And in this case, we'll be 7 deep if we get all of them. So the likelihood that Smythe outscores any of the 6 positional players is just so nil. And we're probably just nutted if we get there with our 6 or 7 guys deep anyway.
Yeah. And for Dave, for you, the next draft we'll do a mitten 4. Yeah,
with the earlier on, like I think earlier when it was tough to get all of your Dolphins, I would be more inclined to take like a Cedric Wilson or Durham Smythe. But now it's just like you can get whatever Dolphins you want, and like Matt was saying, it's just like what's the point at that like these days?
Yeah, exactly. And I like to use then those last spots. I know it's like you can't talk about trying to get your teams to the Super Bowl, but there's like, I tack on a lot of bucks at the end.
Yeah.
So this is going to look exactly basically like the teams that I've been drafting the past 3 days.
And if Numi, you're out there watching still, we got a couple of people here that are. I
think I'd be down for that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I think you'd have to do like a 2 or 3 week period. You obviously can't do each 1 week unless it just ends after the first, amount, and then they run another one, which could be the case. All right, so
I'd be fine with Achan here. Or whatever.
I think Achan is
Okay.
probably the move here.
Okay, yeah. The question is, do you move into another team here, assuming that one of these two Miami guys is going to fall? But I'm perfectly fine just building this super Miami team too.
Yeah, and then I know you're supposed to try to push it. I tend to not get cute though and just take Tua here.
Yeah. Particularly because like AJ Brown at this point is looking like there's a good chance he's going to miss tomorrow. So like that would be my other inclination is build out for the Eagles, but I don't feel good about them right now.
Yeah.
But I think I'm typically with you. I don't try to push it that much in playoff best ball because it's so important to get your build the way you need it to be.
Yeah, and it's like, what am I really gaining here? You know,
exactly.
You know, a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
So for me, the guy would be Mike Evans.
And I agree with Evans as a guy. I don't want to get stuck having to build out like a Baker Super Bowl because we got cute and missed out on Tua. But this is your account. If you want to push it, I'm down to push it.
You do what you want to do.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Right, let's have some fun.
If you want to be more bold than we are.
Yeah. But this is where I would start like looking at the teams on the other side of me and seeing like, is there a threat of someone doing Tua Waddle together?
Yeah, that's a really good point. We have left that possibility.
And
the only team would probably be the Lamar team.
It could be they're might be looking at. They did take Amon-Ra, so they could be looking at Goff. Yeah, they're really building that Detroit side. So I think we did look out, and I'll admit that's something I'm not super great. I'm a little bit better when I'm not also talking about the draft than watching the other people. Man. But
as I've learned this week, trying to draft these, particularly playoff best ball, because it's like you can really fuck it up. I've really fucked up a few drafts trying to do playoff best ball while talking to people on a stream.
I've done it not talking to people.
I mean, me too. Good point.
Yeah. So there's a Goff. Yeah, that was a good call. So I think this will work out. But I maybe said that too soon.
Don't do it to us, Joey.
There we go.
He gets Stafford. So yeah.
I just take Tua here. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was just gonna say. We're gonna take Tua. We're not gonna risk it with the Purdy person. Double tapping. So we did have that risk there. Yeah, and he takes Nico. Probably planning to have Stroud as his.
Yeah.
As there.
Yeah, this is a pretty smooth draft. It seems like most people are just kind of sticking to what they should be sticking to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
And we do get Waddle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking could be listed questionable. I was thinking maybe throwing just a random advance rate person in or first round advance player.
I feel like we already have Evans in there, who was like the ultimate first round advance player in my opinion.
Yeah. I was gonna add Rashad White if he was still there potentially.
Oh,
just as another piece of that bet.
I never answered your earlier question. I prefer the bookends. Like I want to be first or last. I think that's partially just a tilt factor for me. Like I just hate when I like drafted from the fifth spot and then the person at the turn, which just happened to me my last draft, the person at the turn kept on sniping everything I was trying to do. It was nuts. And I hate that. So I prefer drafting at the turn, being able to figure out 2 picks at a time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I did a DraftKings one earlier where that happened to me in the 5 hole and the 6 hole and 3-4 took guys. And there was the first time in these 140 drafts where I just said, I'm just going to draft all the good round 1 players. And I'm just going to make sure you don't. I'm going to try. I can't win that one. I don't have a Super Bowl matchup, but I was just so annoyed.
I have a couple times taken like the backup quarterback because I didn't have a Super Bowl matchup, just like forcing Mike White or something. It does not feel good.
I have a Sam Darnold in like the first mitten, so I get that.
Nice.
So as we come back here, this is normally where I would be looking at Godwin. and just if he's still around, and just continue to, since we have Evans, if we can get 2 games out of the Bucks, and I don't think that's unlikely.
Agreed.
And if it's not, they're going to score points, and if it's not Evans, it's likely going to be Godwin.
Yep.
Sure.
I think it's smart to do it before the guy who has Rashad White too.
Good point. Yeah.
I also don't think I do a good enough job in general of looking at what the teams around me have, except for when I'm in like the 5th spot, the one right next to the bookend is the one where I pay a little bit more attention.
Yeah. So then to close it out here, I don't have a ton of strong feelings.
Do we just have the 2 Miami running backs?
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe a running back.
I am a sucker for like Eli Mitchell, for just like when I don't have CMC already, just like make the bet that, okay, I'm betting on the 49ers being there. And if CMC is active and I don't have him, he's likely going to screw me over. What is the double down on your bet?
Yeah, he just went, but that would have been, I think, probably a good bet there.
All right. Well, do you want to get super weird and take a use check? Or
Yes.
Jordan Mason?
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, because this pick is not someone we're counting on us getting us there. Like if the guys we've taken don't get us there, we're not destined to go with this team.
True.
So I'm down for the random 2 touchdown use check Super Bowl.
I haven't drafted any use check. I've seen other people doing it, and I've thought maybe it's a miss for me that I haven't been doing that one.
Yeah, I don't think I've done it either. But
I think I've taken Jordan Mason over him, but
I've taken Jordan Mason actually plenty.
Okay.
Early on, I thought it was kind of a toss up between Eli Mitchell and Jordan Mason, so I was just kind of going back and forth, or often I think actually more so in weekly winners, taking both of them. But it seems like it's the tide has shifted more to like it's clearly Eli Mitchell is the backup, I think. So I've kind of stopped doing as much Jordan Mason.
Yeah. And that we've had some pretty lucky rooms tonight.
Yeah, that one felt good.
So let's
I like it. Of course, we are counting on a depleted Miami team making the Super Bowl. That's the only downside there.
In the cold.
Yeah.
But, I think at this point where things are sitting in the playoffs, like there's like how many teams that you don't feel comfortable
It's wide
about.
open. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's our second. We started with a Tua team. This is our second 1 QB Tua team. Mostert, A-Chain, Juszczyk. That'll be a unique Super Bowl running back room.
Yeah.
And then Debo, Kittle, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, and Chris Godwin. So that worked pretty good.
That worked out well.
Yeah. And we're very live to have all 10 in at least the divisional round.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so we are going to jump in a mitten here then.
All right.
A couple people requested that in the chat. So if they want to jump in.
Top 3 advance from the first round?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be perfectly honest. I did some of these as practice today to see where things were at. And I did not think through that. So I'm interested to get any sort of ideas that you guys have from that 3 of 6 first round advance.
Yeah, my initial thought when I saw that was actually to lay off of Ravens 49ers because you don't really get as much leverage getting them through since it'll be easier for other people to get them through. But then somebody in the Discord made a good point that while it's true that'll be easier to get them through, that actually probably means that this would be the kind of tournament to try with 6 people from a Ravens-Niners Super Bowl and only try to get through with 4 guys in round 1. And that way you have that one leverage piece in a Niners-Ravens Super Bowl. And I thought that was actually smarter than avoiding them. But not that we have to do that, but I thought that was a super interesting way to think about 3 out of 6. This might be a chance to get through with only 4 guys in round 1.
That is an interesting way to think about it. My only hesitation there is like, do you think that you're going to have a combination of 6 where there's a way that it could go that nobody else is going to have that combo in the Super Bowl with the?
I mean, if you have 6 Ravens Niners,
because you still only get points for 5 though. Like
correct, that's true. I'm just But if I have the same 5 and I have the 6th guy, right, I'm going to win on the tiebreaker.
Oh, there's a tiebreaker. That's a good.
Yeah, so the tiebreaker is if you have the same 5, it then goes to your bench, right? And most people are drafting only 5.
I honestly didn't know that, so that is good to know. I thought you.
So that's where like the use check 1 carry for 2 yards could be like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's really important. That changes a lot. I did not realize that was a rule.
Yeah.
All right. Just to keep things fresh, we're going to build a Buffalo team here. We did build one Dallas.
You're not concerned about the fact that Josh Allen's going to put up 4 fantasy points in the snowstorm tomorrow?
No,
I really need that. I really need that.
I'm not. I feel like if any team is built to handle a cold day, it's Josh Allen running around.
True.
Yeah.
Obviously, the steam seems to have gone out of Diggs this year. But are you guys factoring that into?
I haven't
anything.
been.
Are you just taking him?
Yeah,
as is.
I guess maybe it's that I don't watch enough Bills, but I'm like, I don't feel like he's gotten any worse. I feel like it's just like a string of bad luck. I could be totally wrong about that.
And this is no science behind this, but he just seems like the kind of guy that in the playoffs you're going to get the absolute.
Yeah,
he's going to turn it on. Like if he has juice left, we're going to see it.
Yeah, and I don't even mean to say that it's him. I don't know enough about football to know if it's him playing poorly or if it's just the team situation or whatever. But
yeah,
I wasn't trying to say that he's bad now or anything.
No,
I definitely don't know enough.
Yeah.
All right, so do you take him or do you push him? Take him, right?
I take him.
Yeah, probably take him. Like I don't know what you'd push him for.
Yeah,
Amon-Ra would be the guy here.
Yeah,
that I could potentially push him for, but I'm gonna just queue up the Bills.
Yeah,
this is sort of my method.
Me too. I do the same thing.
You can start Lenny. Yeah, I've taken 1 or 2 Lennys.
Yeah, and it's not even that I like all of these people or that I would take all of these people or not take them. It's just for me as I'm drafting, it's just easier to look at the queue and see the starred guys. It's not even that I'm drafting off the queue. It's more when I'm scrolling through the player list that it really helps me. All right, so what do we got here? We got pretty much a simple setup. Cincy Mink did take Amon-Ra and is going to try to push Zay Flowers here to pick 14. Probably going to happen with TK taking Mahomes.
Yeah, it's a relatively standard board so far. But I think we probably have to make a decision here what we want to do on the NFC side. And it's probably Rams.
I mean, we Cook would still make sense here, though, right?
Oh, true. Yeah, let's just do that.
Yeah, I do think that's the common build. But if you did want to get a little bit more, if you're thinking about your early combos, a Tony Pollard could be interesting, and then have a big Buffaloes one. I mean, there's pretty low game scenarios where Dallas loses and Tony Pollard is the highest scoring guy, but it'd be pretty unique if that's a goal of yours.
True.
Yeah, so, and honestly, the Rams stuff, if we decide to go that route, might come back because these are all NFC stacks behind us here.
Yeah, I get the Rams as players, like those. There's like 3 guys that you care about that score points, and I get why they're going this high, but I just don't know why they're that much better than the Packers, and in like terms of ability to advance through the playoffs or the Buccaneers. So I have a hard time taking them here just because I'm thinking about the value of other similar teams later, but I'm not against it.
I think I'm generally the same way. They're actually the number 2 thing that would kill me is if the Rams make the Super Bowl. That's the other team that I was never drafting just because I was like, okay, everybody's going to take Cup when they have they have below 50% or around 50% chance of making the playoffs. That I was taking DK Metcalf, and so it was just that's another one that would absolutely kill me if the Rams get there, and it's becoming more. It seems more and more likely that they do. So, yeah, I haven't really been doing it, but seems like every decision I've been making has been going poorly, so maybe I need to start.
Yeah, I think if you just look at the likely scenarios, right? The Packers have to go through Dallas and then go through San Francisco.
Yeah.
Whereas the Rams go through the Lions and then likely the winner of Eagles Bucks. So I just think it's a much easier path.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. So we'll do it. We'll get Kyron Williams. How high or how much different do you have like a Puka versus Cup ranked in your head?
0 for me.
Yeah, it's negligible. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Puka, but like if he goes and Cup comes back, I don't feel any kind of way about it. And I'm also just the Packer stuff is interesting though, because if you get them through, you've destroyed a lot of other teams that loaded up on Cowboys and Niners, right? It's like they've getting the Packers all the way through. There aren't many people building for Packers Super Bowl. There probably are a decent amount of people building for Rams Super Bowl just based on the ADPs, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and even more people playing the Tampa.
Yeah,
because they're taking Mike Evans and maybe getting cut out on quarterback that they want, and they're ending up with a Baker team.
Yeah.
We got Mike waiting in the wings for the third segment.
Oh.
He'll be on board
Okay.
for the Packers teams.
I'll stick around and watch how that comes together.
Yeah. Again, we have a pretty nice room here. Everybody's building in their lane. Maybe we're getting lucky that a couple people are watching. I know Vaporware is out there.
Yeah,
I definitely see TK15 in baseball drafts, so maybe they are a viewer, and I apologize if I don't recognize you. All right. So yeah, we have our pick here.
At this point, I probably just do Puka because of the higher ADP, harder to get.
Yeah. But did you see Andrews went there at 5'2"?
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he did. That guy's getting the full Baltimore thing.
He's not waiting at all. Got that news today and couldn't click the button fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's still a pretty, I like maybe he still misses one more game or
I would
two.
think so. Yeah.
I don't know. The injury, the broken bone is not really like something you think about coming back and just being like totally in shape and,
Yeah. That's just the first that I've seen him go that high. So it's just
I think he's starting to move up. Which makes Lively a very interesting pick now. The problem is you're competing, or you can get him potentially later than he was going, because I find myself taking Likely before Andrews was active. I was taking Likely pretty early, despite not really being a super like huge component of the offense. Just that I wanted another Baltimore person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely scared off of Likely a little bit now. Even if I'm not totally confident in Andrews, like I just feel like he's gonna muck the whole situation up for Likely.
Yeah.
All right, so we're sort of open here.
Yeah.
Any direction that stands out?
I kind of like the take Shakir here. It is interesting that Shakir has now surpassed Gabe Davis in terms of ADP.
Yeah. he's for sure out one game.
Yeah.
But I think there's also something to be said about what he actually contributed this year. How often he was an important part.
Yeah. And we do have Diggs and Puka for the first round too. So we could have just gone with Gabe Davis.
Yeah, and this was the other interesting idea. Now that since we've taken it, this is 3 of 6. We've taken all non-bye week players too. If Brown is out for a game, he's an interesting guy to think about as a bye week player.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously the vibes are off there, as has been pointed out.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Someone did take, I didn't notice.
Oh, I didn't notice that either.
Somebody did take Devonta Smith over him.
Huh.
I have not taken Devonta Smith over AJ Brown. I've just, if they're both still available, I'll wait till somebody else takes AJ Brown and then jump on Devonta Smith sometimes.
Yeah. No, I was early. We're talking about things from early in the drafting window. AJ Brown was my highest exposed player for a period of time there. And it's since been watered down. I should probably try to get cheaper versions of him. But I'm so in on the Bucks with that first round upset now, and I'm not trying to get player takey, but now I'm going to get a guy that might miss a game, and that might be their only game.
Yep.
It's hard for me to talk myself into it, and now I don't have to worry about it.
Yep, and he goes there.
I'd be cool with Gabe here. I mean, even though we know he's missing a week, we do already have really strong first round receivers in Diggs and Puka, and maybe Shakir even. But some negative correlation there with Gabe and Shakir too.
Yeah, but we're taking them for different off on different games. And this really we missed out on Kincaid, which is fine, and then everybody else is sort of whatever that's left over here. That I don't feel like I don't mind Dawson Knox if you need another Buffalo guy, but
see, this is where now we can tack the Packers on at the end of this now, right? This is
I was leading you there.
This is all set up to just throw 3 Packers on at the end and get that Buffalo Green Bay Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's interesting. Go back here in time. This is an interesting strategy that Billy was pointing out here to go 4 and then 2-2-2-2 and really maximize your options in the Super Bowl, which I hadn't considered too much.
I've done that some. I think I moved more towards 4-3-3, but I think it's viable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably makes more sense in the smaller advancement of the first round. When you have 3 out of 6, I'd just rather bet on a smaller amount of game environments. But I could see if it's 1 out of 6, you want to try to hit the nuts a little bit more in round 1.
Yeah.
I have some 4-2-2-2s for sure. But yeah, this is where I think we get rid of all those Buffalo guys and start ripping in some Packers.
All right. We didn't have to wait till the third segment.
Yeah,
I could subtly point towards it.
Michael's not going to be happy.
We can give him credit for this one.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I definitely start with Aaron Jones in this case. He's just such a focal point of that offense, and then it's a dice roll, really. I think.
Yeah. Agreed.
Whoever's healthiest that week, really, between these 3 guys so far. I do
think that this is my order: Reed, Watson, Wicks for me. Michael says rank the wide receivers. This would be my order. I guess Dobbs we're not even considering here.
Oh yeah.
You're the Packers fan, Sheep. You tell us what you think.
It's true. I've been out on Dobbs as it's gone on, just because actually, like maybe this is recency bias, but for me, it's probably Reed, Wicks, Watson, Dobbs, because I just don't trust Christian Watson to stay on the field. The problem is when he is on the field, the target volume goes this way. Or even recently, maybe Wicks over Reed, because Reed hasn't been the healthiest either. So I think it's truly like a randomizer.
Where do you guys think the Packers receivers get drafted in Best Ball Mania this year?
This upcoming summer, I think I could see Reed getting some steam. He had the big Week 17 game. He's the young guy, not a lot of health concerns.
Yeah.
Like, I could see that being like around, and people are starting to get into Jordan Love too. Like, could I see around 6 Reed?
Yeah. I think you're right.
Especially with everyone pressed on wide receivers, I could see around 6 Reed for sure.
Yeah.
I think we have a few weeks to really have an answer to that, because I think people get a lot of ideas in the playoffs about it.
True.
Too.
That's true too.
It could influence it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bernie's here. Maybe you just missed it after I said it, but I just don't trust Christian Watson to stay on the field. And now, like it's impossible to know what the Packers think too, like because we haven't seen any data on it, right? We haven't seen any data where all of these guys are ready, and maybe they all just are bad picks then.
Yeah. But I think we have it in the right order for this last pick right now, just because Watson is the more likely one to have a big play if they're all on the field together.
Yeah. All right, so we'll turn on the auto there, and we will bring in the second crew here. Third crew. You can tell I've been streaming for a little bit. All right, so we got Brad. We got Mike joining us. I did not prepare a second question. Cheers for you guys. So I will excuse Matt and Neil. Everybody, I'm sure everybody already has here, but if you're not following Neil's new YouTube channel, go follow him on Twitter. It's linked there. So thanks, Matt and Neil.
Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good luck this weekend, guys.
Yep. Good show, guys. I enjoyed listening.
Watch you guys later, guys.
Yep.
Good luck.
Whoop.
It's just me.
Psych.
Oh man,
they left.
I just came in to say bye to everyone.
this guy, man.
What's up, guys? Welcome. We're gonna get a little looser here now. There's a reason I put you two together as the late night crew.
We're gonna do the clown hour, hammer hour.
Yeah, I'm coming up on the third beer, and
I'm only slightly annoyed you got into the Packers already, but I'll forgive you. We can still have more Packers fun. So I started off with the other guys. Oh, let me update my tweet here. I did have this. I had all 3 tweets for everybody scheduled, and we didn't quite follow the time, but that's all right. We got 2 drafts with everybody. There it is.
But yeah, so checking in with everybody as they start on their shift, where you're at this draft season, what places did you play? How many teams did you do? Are you done? That sort of thing. So Brad?
I'm done on Underdog. I started way too early. Got too invested up front. For me, I mean, it's not even a massive number of teams. I think I only have like 35 teams, but it's a bigger portfolio than I usually take on. So
yeah,
DraftKings, I'm going to be working basically until the end, I think.
I have almost 200 drafts on Underdog completed, and I have at least 20 to 25 on DraftKings, and a couple on Drafters. I will probably do a couple more tonight, some smattering tomorrow before the games start. I don't really have any plans, just kind of going with the flow.
So
Yeah.
you've been drafting on DraftKings like me.
Also, yeah.
How much does it feel? Did you draft in the early like $3, $12 single entry, and then
Yes.
you're drafting in the new contest? Does it feel like it's gotten really a lot harder, like you're just getting your ass kicked in the new contest?
I could actually. Sheep, is there any chance we could do a DraftKings draft instead of an Underdog? I'll let you think about that while I answer that question. So I think that because the DraftKings player pool is so much wider, there's so much more liquidity, there's so many bad players compared to other sites. There's a lot more players that are just like number one, completely auto drafting, which on DraftKings, if you completely auto draft without changing anything, you get a straight 0. So I'm going to bet a lot that a lot of these lobbies are going to have teams at the bottom with good players on them auto drafted that are just going to be zeroed out because they didn't make a qualifying pick. So that's one advantage of DraftKings. The second thing is in the previous drafts on this stream tonight, most of your opponents stayed in their lanes, right? And that's something that gets brought up a lot. It is chaos on the DraftKings. The other part of it is they add 2 more roster spots, but they make you play a tight end. So because they force you to play a tight end, it completely changes your strategies. You can't draft less than a 4-4 as your Super Bowl, because you need, I think that's the right way to do it. So when you have a 4-4 they're aiming for, it's so easy for somebody to just take your random tight end from you or take your random running back, because you have to fill 4 positions with 2 sides. It's hard to check all 4 of the boxes the way that you really want to. So I think it's just a completely different product design. I don't know whether I like it or not, but yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine, man. I'm just really excited to see what ends up actually taking down these contests, because I'm going to be surprised how many actually end up being like a full stack or even 2-team stack. And
it's hard to get a 5-5 of any single team together. And I've just noticed that because of those 11th and 12th rounds, people are reaching and just like, oh, let me take Jamison Williams from you because Jamison Williams is a relevant piece and he's more useful to me than my correlated pieces, even though that is better EV for them. It's kind of like when you want your opponents to play bad, but their bad play is actually stealing from you, and actually it's defensive drafting against you. So it's okay, I wish you did it to them, not me, but it is what it is, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, and as Steph points out, it is only one team advancing.
Yeah, it's 1 out of the 6 pod, then 1, and then I don't know. I wrote an article on it. I should know better.
It is,
yeah. I mean, but round by round, it's 1 the first round, 1 the second.
Several,
round.
Yeah. It's 1 of 6, 1 of 6, or one of X, 1 of X, 1 of X,
and then one big pool.
You just gotta. Honestly, the teams to win the first round, those teams are going to be bad, and they may have some really bad advancing teams. So Nico Collins could put up the best score of the week on a losing team, right? So he could advance certain teams across the line that are just dead already, going into round 2. So I've always loved these contests. I had some success on the playoff hockey one where, I just drafted a wild combo that nobody would take. It was like a 4 seed versus an 8 seed, and it just ran hot.
Well,
so
that's really my thing. Is I think there's a pretty good argument on DraftKings that if you feel like you're not going to get that stack in as early as the second round, to actually just go best player, because you get your money back if you advance.
It's so tricky.
It's so tricky. Wild to figure out.
Okay, so what you're saying is abandon the plan of trying to win the tournament in exchange for the current situation. It happens on every draft in DraftKings, and it throws the end of the draft off. It just makes it so much more difficult.
I'm dead serious though. I've been thinking about it all day since we were chatting online last night. I actually have an idea. I think I'm gonna try and do a 4-4 and then change where it's a double stack from the AFC or double stack from the NFC, and then just put little best of pieces that I can get from the other conference. Because there's there's a huge advantage on DraftKings with only one team advancing. There's going to be like a lot of San Francisco and Baltimore players who don't advance to that second round.
Absolutely. It's going to be very hard to advance those.
Like because I had been really
I would
like,
full fade
pass on Christian McCaffrey. Like in round one, it doesn't matter where I pick at. If he falls to me,
I haven't been put in that situation, but I think I could make that argument for sure.
Yeah, like if
Matt,
I'm
before we get started here, do we want to do anything in particular here?
Oof.
At pick 5.
What spot are we in? 5?
Pick 5.
I mean, I could make a huge case for take your pick between the Browns and the Texans and add the Packers, and that's our team. Like, you just like I'm legit suggesting taking, Amari Cooper 5th overall and building that team. That's one of the options.
Yeah, right. But like, who do you have upsetting on that side of the bracket so that Cleveland's not right up against Baltimore? Because you basically have to say that there's another upset, otherwise it seems.
Yeah, we're trying to win the whole tournament. Where this is a very part of coming in at the end here is that we're getting wild. Like obviously, I want to draft a team that like less than 1% of the pool has.
Well,
yeah,
my disagreement.
It's one of the ways to build. There's obviously infinite ways.
My disagreement is that I would put like if you want to do the Houston Cleveland thing, I would stake a better NFC team first before going into that.
Sure. So, and one of the other shows you were talking about drafting Deebo Samuel and then coming back with your second round pick and what the different options were. One of my favorite starts is Deebo Samuel, Zay Flowers, and then my Super Bowl matchup. So it's a bet that says I think Team A and Team B are going to make a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, here I think it's
they're going to get carried by a conference championship matchup against the Ravens and the Niners. Because sometimes if you just don't have Deebo, you can't win the tournament at all.
Yeah.
Right. So
we've got Deebo
some
now,
cases
right?
to take, best available first round NFC, best available second round AFC, then build your teams out from there. But, sometimes it gets wonky.
Okay. So we just took Deebo, Michael, right? What do we do here? What do you want to do here? Because they took Purdy on the other side.
So I don't want to have any other Niners for sure.
So I disagree because the
tight end thing is a
position.
Huge issue here.
Yeah. That's where I lean Kittle here instead of full fading any other.
Yeah, I think it's either St. Brown or Kittle, but Diggs is also a good shot because it doesn't really matter. I mean, all we're shooting for at this position is value.
I'm in for Kittle.
Good. Yeah, Kittle's good.
Because, like you said, where you're building for that San Francisco losing the conference.
What was the Mark Andrews news you heard today? I was looking for it as you guys mentioned it.
They have him designated to return.
Okay.
So they've moved him designated to return, but we don't actually know what
he's one of my highest exposed players.
Me too.
I looked at his timeline. He went on the IR list with 5 weeks to go in the season. I felt like he was almost ready to go, but all the timelines added up to near the end of the season. So I've just made that bet, and I don't think I have a single Isaiah Likely share at any part of my portfolio.
I've got some DK lines with both, where I'm just I'll just try to get through the first round, either nude or with second tier tight end.
All right, so let's focus on this.
Really,
I could literally. I had a 5-minute tangent ready to queue up there, but let's focus on this team for this exact moment because we have a Niners start. We have a wide receiver, tight end, but they're going to be fillers. They're carriers. They're both on bye week. That is the potential problem we're facing now.
And somebody did take. There's a claim on Casey here, so.
Okay.
Pacheco could be an advanced guy if we wanted him. Dallas, Buffalo's pretty split up. That's not a great place to go.
Look at AFC.
Yeah, so we could go Miami here.
Take Njoku. I would run
mean,
Cleveland here.
It's
It is
definitely
double
a
tight
strategy
end.
to take Cleveland.
You need that second tight end to get you through. That's what I would do. I would take Cleveland.
So yeah, and I will go with that. I'm much more Houston over Cleveland. I think
I almost said Nico Collins, but I thought that was too greedy. I didn't think I would get you to take Nico Collins right there, but that's probably what I would have. That was the first thing that I wanted to say. I actually think the second tight. I actually end up with a lot of 3 and 4 tight end builds in DraftKings. That's probably a mistake. I'm openly admitting that's probably a mistake, but I just find myself the position is even more important than usual. There's only a single running back. There's only a single wide receiver. You still are required to play that tight end.
So
yeah, and you can tell based on ADP that how much further ahead he's going than Cooper.
Yeah,
how much people are thinking about tight end.
All right, so you got the Browns queued up. What were you about to say, Brad?
No, I was just going to say that basically with the position coming up, like it's going to be Cooper, and then are you hoping in the next round that it's going to be Ford, or do you start looking at diversifying outside of Cleveland?
I queue them up. So I would go to my draft board. I would have Ford, Flacco. Are you an Eli Moore guy or not? I could argue both sides.
I like Moore because Tillman's out, right?
He's definitely on the board.
Yeah.
If you're even able to search Browns on DraftKings, it's such a shit.
No, you can't. You got to do by the teams.
Oh, that's so annoying. Tilts my face off. Just give me a good user interface.
I think if you put the city in, it'll come up.
There might be a way. It might be like just Browns works.
It's one or the other because I think there is a way to do it.
But it doesn't. It specifically doesn't work with the Niners or the Ravens, which why that's true makes no sense to me. Those
oh,
you don't want to search them anyways.
Yeah, you can't search Browns.
I'm pretty sure on mobile you can, but it's not. It's irrelevant.
Okay. Yeah, and there's definitely some audience participation in the Cleveland over Houston. I just have a really hard time believing that Joe Flacco is for real. Just all things considered.
Yeah, but I mean, does it matter?
No.
Like in the end, like when you just talk about like defensive matchups, right? Cleveland's offense has a better matchup than Houston's offense when we go offense defense. And then like the one thing we do know about Flacco is that he will utilize a tight end, and he's done this through his entire career. And so like, and I mean, obviously we saw Njoku's what he was doing before Flacco and what he's done after. And I don't know, man. I don't think he has to like throw for a bunch, especially with the weather that we're going to see in some of these games this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, who are we taking here?
So
I'm perfectly fine taking one of these top 3 guys just as a first round advancer.
So pick a lane between Miami and KC.
Yeah, I mean, it's Rice or...
Yeah, I'm fine with Rice for sure.
Yep. So that's who I got.
All right, so that blocks us out of Miami, which is fine. Cleveland blocks us out of Texans and Ravens, which is fine. We got our Niners exposure for the NFC side. So now we have some Packers available.
Well, I think we could take Jerome Ford here next.
Absolutely. I would put Eli Moore in the queue and Flacco also.
Okay. We are a little light on running back so far.
Oh, there's always Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we
did they take our Ford? Right? Did someone steal our Ford?
No, I got him.
Oh,
I got him.
Yeah. We just need one running back. I mean, who cares?
That's true.
I am a Jerome Ford truther. One of my highest exposed preseason guys. I got a lucky run out with like the Pierre Strong trade and all that, but it's okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, like I wrote an article about this, and I think this is like one of the major things on DraftKings is you're going to end up short at one position, if not 2, and you just got to like pick your spot. And so if we're going to say, okay, it's going to be Cleveland that goes to the Super Bowl even, then like Ford and Flacco present such an opportunity that we can kind of dodge.
Did the Browns upset the Ravens in the regular season? I'm curious if that was one of their losses. I truly don't remember, but like they've played them twice. I'm curious how they matched up. I want to say they got one of their losses.
That's you can. I have
This
no
is
idea.
me just
I'll be
making shit
honest.
up and hoping it works.
I'm gonna look right now.
Yeah, and even if it was, I don't really have.
I don't
That's
think
that's
it
noise,
Yeah.
anyways. I'm clear about that.
Kind of.
If anyone's going to upset the Ravens, why would it not be the Browns?
I mean, that's a good argument, but like, why would it be the Browns is also a good argument.
Just like familiarity, like division opponent. Excellent defense, as Neil pointed out. Like, obviously, defense is a playoff thing.
Those are interesting reasons why Baltimore might also win. Like, I mean,
No.
what I'm saying. It's like I'm
100%.
legitimizing your argument here, which is that okay, maybe it's Cleveland, maybe it's Baltimore. Why not? But that really goes to the idea of like, are we drafting based on what we believe game outcomes are? Or are we drafting based on like storytelling? Like, are we going to build a team? And
this is 100%. I'm 100% a storyteller.
Yeah, me too, man.
No. So let's be crystal clear. The Ravens are going to be massive favorites. They're probably going to stop the shit out of the Browns. But what percentage of our opponents are drafting
fantastic
3 to 4 Cleveland Browns on their team? What percentage of our opponents are drafting, are getting to the second round with enough Ravens to be competitive? To me, it's just risk reward. They clearly have an excellent first round matchup. They're road favorites in the playoffs. That's tough to be, so if they make it to second round, you get 2 rounds out of them. Great. If they upset the Ravens and they're on the fast track to the championship game, it's just having a team that like very few other people are going to have. And if you're right, your bet pays out, significantly disproportionate for what the risk was.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I just think the uniqueness of that bet, right? When we start talking about bets, the Cleveland line, I think, is a little diluted overall through the field. But,
you think there's a lot of Cleveland teams in drafts? I might be.
There's a lot of Cleveland teams on DK because like early on, the value on Cleveland was extremely low. So everybody was able to get in. I mean, almost like we've done here. They could get top end pieces and then get a full Cleveland stack. It really hasn't been uncommon.
I saw you snuck that Aaron Jones in there. Really?
What?
Early.
We're gonna do the Green Bay.
Let's get there.
Thing.
Just so you know, they split with Baltimore, and that was the last game that Deshaun Watson played. Was the win over Baltimore. He threw it like 45 times for 200 yards.
Yeah, and we didn't really need to take Elijah Moore there. So,
no,
based on where Tampa is already staked out, and the fact that I do like Jaden Reed, but there's other Green Bay wide receivers. I grabbed Aaron Jones there.
Yeah, well, I mean, Reed's such a great position
because Dylan.
Because Dylan may not play, and so Reed may actually end up getting carries as well. I mean, that's the benefit to Reed.
True. Yeah, I don't think Dylan's playing. And Reed had quite a few carries.
Yeah.
Is there a playoff version of Survivor? Survivor would be a fun format in the playoffs. Who would be your Survivor pick this week? If you had to pick one team as your lock, money line, one team, no matter what.
Rams.
Wow.
It's done.
They're road dogs, Detroit. Right? They're road dogs.
I love Detroit. I love
the Rams. Don't get me wrong.
My family's from Detroit. Like big.
Is this just like a loser town, big a loser town? Bro, I'm just curious. Is this just like they're just gonna get? It's not that Detroit. They're gonna lose the NFC Championship game, though, right? That's the ultimate loser thing.
No, man, they got to build for like years and years, and then they'll like lose in the championship or like lose in the Super Bowl badly, and then they'll have another 0-17 season. Like, that's the only way that franchise can go.
All right, so
who are you on?
I'm actually going to take Justin Watson here as part of a little KC.
Okay.
With the idea that we're also going to build a potential KC Green Bay.
Yeah, because we have Rice.
Super Bowl. Yeah, we took Rice earlier.
Okay, so who's our quarterback in the Super Bowl?
So right now we have 4 Cleveland, 2 KC, so we have 6 AFC. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes. Yeah. So we have
like
Flacco, and then I'm gonna throw. Well, I don't know. We'll see if we get it, but we'll see if this guy that took. Well, he just took CJ Stroud and Patrick Mahomes.
All right. So on this team, I could make a case for Jordan Love.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
I think this team is a Jordan Love team.
And I'm actually just going to take him because I do have that toss-up between the rest of the Green Bay wide receivers.
And if that other guy took Reed that early, I'd rather just take the quarterback that we want.
And he did take Stroud as his second QB too with Mahomes, so I don't think
they're both
that was
AFC.
a risk.
Like he could just be punting. They might end up with 5 quarterbacks.
The question, if we're building this like 2 different Super Bowl potential matchup, is who's our tight end from KC or Green Bay?
I was going to ask you. I am on the Musgrave train. Are you on the Kraft train?
Again, it's just random. Like I don't think you can know.
Who's more likely to get injured?
Get injured?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, one guy is just coming off injury, so let's say him. I guess I don't know. Like that's.
I mean, that's been my whole.
Or he's all healthy, and that's the other guy's turn to get hurt. I don't know. That's obviously not how anything works. But
I feel like the value you get on Kraft, like because you can get him basically. I mean, like almost.
All right, so I feel like the same situation started preseason in Dallas, where it was Ferguson and there's a second rookie tight end in Dallas, but one's more of a blocker and one's more of a receiver. I felt like coming in, and my opinions through most of the season have been Musgrave has been more of the offensive playmaker and Kraft is more of the 6 offensive linemen, blocker, whatever. So I'm obviously not really up to date on the advanced metrics of, how many routes run or targets per route runs, stuff like that. But I bet that data would suggest Musgrave is the better bet to put up a useful score.
If they're both playing, the data would suggest that Musgrave is the better player.
Obviously, yes. So the problem with models, including anything with statistics and averages, is that this is based on the best case scenario of the guy playing the whole time. And
I love that we started this with me being like, well, I don't know about this, and you got to think about who's going to beat who. And now I'm just like, okay, here's what's going to happen. Kraft is going to go off because Musgrave is going to get injured, which I mean, obviously we don't wish on anyone.
The guy that plays 100% of the time has more value than the guy that might not be playing. Obviously that was my big take in the free agent running backs this season, going into this NFL season. I had very little Fournette. I had very little Kareem Hunt. I had very little Ezekiel Elliott because, I just don't even they may not play this year. I got burned the previous season with Odell Beckham not playing a snap all year. And who was the Miami guy that retired? Will Fuller. So, I remember the season before my bags were packed with Will Fuller and Odell Beckham, and they played 0 snaps that season. So I was like, okay, obvious edge is to draft guys that actually play snaps. So these dumb free agents might not play snaps. That's such a hard thing to build in a projections model. Okay, does this guy get signed? Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Stephanie's right. The metrics when he was off the field, Kraft were really good. But I think Musgrave's probably the take here.
Yeah. And this goes just.
Wait, we came back to Musgrave? I thought we talked. Let's get
No, I didn't get my chance. I didn't get my chance to give input between your guys' conversation here. This just goes. This just goes back to
the Packers fan tiebreaker.
The Packers drafted him higher. He is the guy.
Oh shit! I forgot they care about that shit. Stupid general managers.
Yeah.
You're right. So it's so hard to model that shit.
Yeah, and I think maybe if this is the Super Bowl team, Musgrave might not matter in the first couple of games because he only played a few snaps. They could be safe with him, but he's the sort of guy that you can unleash in a Super Bowl or a conference championship.
Well,
so,
this team has Kittle on it, so we need him in week 1 if we can. I mean, I know we got already.
We got Njoku, so.
But we would rather have 2 options instead of 1.
No, but it's a really good situation because like what could very well happen in the Cleveland game is that like Njoku might score well, but Flacco may not score well, and this is a good position overall. I actually like this team a lot more than I like a lot of teams that I draft on DK.
All right,
it's a nightmare over there.
3 tight ends. That's all it takes to feel good about your team. It's easy.
This was fun. So let's do another. Let's do another one here. We got the underdog. It seems like you guys are into it, so we're gonna do another $4
try to join
DK
this
team.
one.
All right.
Oh shit! I got to load money. Go ahead.
Okay. We will get in now if anybody's interested in joining.
I kept missing when you were doing your other streams. I kept joining other drafts.
Yeah. So
it's like an autofill.
The question here from Vaporware: are you doing drafters $3 to cover all the bases? I'm not. I don't tend to. I've sort of pulled back on drafters. I'll do some baseball teams again there. Mike will be there on drafters with you. I just haven't
if
had time.
Cover all the bases, you mean Max Degen? Yeah, of course. What other answer is there? I mean, look, it is a different game. It is a game that actually rewards stacking Niners and Ravens if it's an option. So, from that bet, you could either argue the fish are going to accidentally build those teams, and so their mistakes could benefit them, or they're not going to build those teams and you could benefit. So that you could argue that either way, in my opinion. But I can say from trying to cash out at drafters, I'm not necessarily thrilled with like trying to win a tournament there.
Okay.
So just do with that what you will. I mean, that's a separate comment. It wasn't anything egregious. It just was. It reminded me of just like gambling at bad properties in Vegas, right? That's the best way to describe my experience.
Yeah, and
the Wild West Marriott Casino is one of the greatest casinos in Las Vegas.
Like if I were getting cashed out, they would have paid me in 50s. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I did not cash out too much there. I did have a nice run.
I lost money. I want to be super clear. I lost like this. I cashed out an amount that's not even a real it's not a real amount of money. I lost money.
Yeah, because I didn't have any problem. I got 7th in the baseball tournament last year.
My big problem is I haven't had PayPal in like 20 years. I literally haven't had PayPal like in almost 20 years. Like it's been around. I lost it super early.
So we're going to be at 3 here. For me, this is a choice between like 3 players, basically. I mean, if we get CeeDee Lamb, I want CeeDee Lamb. But Michael, for me, this would be like pretty much Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, and then St. Brown. I mean, if you want to diversify and not take Samuels again, not take Debo. What do you got, man?
Josh Allen's the best play.
Yeah. I mean, you get the most weeks out of him. He's got huge rushing upside.
Could the game literally be 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns versus 1 touchdown and like
he runs for both of them?
2-point conversions? Like this current week could suck. So what's that?
We just saw a game where Buffalo won like 28 to something, and Allen ran in 2 touchdowns and threw for 1.
One of my biggest nights betting sports of my life, like when I write a book about my sports adventures, there's going to be a story with Mike G and I where there was a football game at least 2-3 years ago where Buffalo and New England were playing, and the snow was like incredible. Like it was like a top 5 snow game of like multiple, a long period of time or whatever. And we were certain that the kickers weren't going to be able to kick. We were certain that they weren't going to be able to complete passes. And so I built a bunch of showdown teams that only had running backs. Like it was like 4 running backs in showdown teams, and Josh Allen captains because like he's a running quarterback. And it was just designed in a way that And I think basically this is a long-winded way of saying one of the ways that the Bills could play this is to literally have like 3 pass attempts and run every goddamn possession, like run Leonard Fournette, run fucking, all the other backup guys. I can't even think of them off the top of my head right now. James Cook, just run them into the ground and try to win just getting the second touchdown that the Steelers.
Yeah, I think it's either Cook or Diggs. Like, this is actually the hardest question. I'm sure we're going to take Diggs here. But, like,
we're definitely taking Diggs, yes.
Part of me actually takes Cooks over Diggs because the field right now, there's a lot of drafts where Diggs is going way too late.
I absolutely so when I've wanted to, so what I'm hearing you say is you want to be long Cooks but short Diggs with Allen teams. What I actually have done is taken a different second round play over Diggs and waited and gotten Cooks in the third. I have played some teams that way.
Yeah. Well, like in the last draft we did, Cooks went in the third, right before it came back to us. Maybe in the fourth, but I think in the third. But it was a pretty early position. And this is what I mean. I think the field is just way too short on Diggs.
Both of these teams have running backs also behind us, so they're less likely to take Cooks than. And at the time,
that's a good point. Man.
Actually, we didn't know they had Kyron Williams at the time. That's me looking in the future. My bad.
Yeah, because I mean Williams, that would have been an interesting pick for us even, but it's too good to get the Buffalo stack here. But I think
we definitely want the Buffalo stack.
And as you're describing, that one snow game, like if it plays out like that. We're not going to need Diggs now, but the way we're building down the line, we're going to get coverage on wide receiver in the first round. So
well, Davis is out this week. So like you have a wider, let's say they do end up throwing the ball 15, 20 times. I mean, the share for that is going to be huge for Diggs. I mean, it also might make someone like Dawson Knox viable for a single week, but
yeah,
I think 4-4-2-2 is viable on DraftKings.
I agree. 4 from one conference and then 2 and 2 from the other conference.
So after Kincaid, we would have 4 Buffalo. I think the remainders could be considered bonus after that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Going way back, definitely like the in this position with this first decision that we made, the Allen Jackson. That's funny, an Allen Jackson decision. The nice thing about both those guys is they do have tight ends that you want to pair with them too. Whereas if you get Mahomes without Kelsey, you're kind of in trouble.
What, you don't know Gray had the last round?
What's that?
I mean, you can.
Noah Gray?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. The problem with Allen and Jackson both, though, is that, like, we don't really know what the tight end split is going to be. And, like, this week, I think there's a good chance that we're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets just for the additional linemen, essentially, right?
Yeah, no, I think Knox is live this week to be relevant for sure.
Yeah.
I like Kincaid a lot here.
Okay, where are we at?
Okay, I was actually thinking about throwing a Gibbs here.
I'm in. Do it.
As
I think if Knox weren't viable, then I would not agree with this play.
I agree completely.
If we get sniped, people are correctly adjusting for tight end in this format, but they're also doing it really irrationally by random filler tight ends and breaking people's stacks at tight end, which is like the worst thing to do because you can't unless you're going to carry them all the way to the Super Bowl, it doesn't really work. So
yeah. Now see if we look at the draft board. This is what I was talking about earlier, where Cleveland stacks are just completely live late. There's Njoku. Because I was going to say, if Njoku gets back to us, this would be like my dream draft where I just draft from one side of the board, where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do Buffalo and I'm going to do Cleveland, because there's a decent chance that
we did lose on Kincaid, which is annoying.
It's tough, yeah.
But for me, this is
what Lions are left.
I mean, Reynolds is going to be live this week because Raymond's out. Cleve Raymond's going to be out. So Reynolds should pick up a huge share.
All right.
All
So
right.
do you want to go? All right. So you went Mike Evans, I think.
I went Mike Evans.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 3 Buffalo. What kind of Tampa do you want to do with that? I agree. Mike Evans can be certainly a fine rental, but let's just have the discussion now while we can.
I just like putting White and Evans together on DK as just a first round big bet on Tampa. Just with where.
So why not add Kate Otten and Baker Mayfield and just like they run hot?
Yeah, for sure. At the end, we could definitely get there. They're just not. They're not.
I was just wondering if a Tampa Buffalo team was an option. I just want to see.
Yeah, but I think there's like a pretty decent strategy because if we can almost fill out Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
And then what
QB is not necessary in this team. I should clarify.
Yeah.
We have
and then all you really need to do is you just need to have elementary pieces from the other side of the board. So like whether it's pieces from Baltimore or Detroit, whatever, or I mean San Francisco or Detroit, not Baltimore. But and then realistically you have a pathway through. The story we're just telling is that Buffalo is a juggernaut.
I think 8 is the goal that I want in the Super Bowl. I think that, whether that be through a 4-4 or like a 5-3 or whatever, I think 8 is my object when I'm building. I want to have.
I just want a full roster. I don't really want over a full roster myself.
I mean, it would be nice to have a.
I'm trying to win. Like I hear you. You have you still have 4 other spots to help you advance if you do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not even talking about advance. I'm just talking about like if you really have if you have one divisional stack and then divisional pieces from the other side of the board, that's not just an advanced tactic. That's a tactic that prevents your elimination at every round if the team you've picked from your side of the board continues to advance. So like if Buffalo continues to advance, it doesn't really matter who we have on the NFC side as long as we have 1 or 2 pieces from the teams that are advancing.
If you want to tell me you want to build a 6-2-2-2, you got I'm super in for that. But what I'm saying is I want my ideal scenario is an 8-player super, at least then 1, right? If it's a 5-3-2-1, right? Okay, obviously that's fine, right? We do what we can or whatever. But I just want the team that breaks through to really have a shot to win.
All right, so
I mean, that's the goal.
I'm getting aggressive. I know we're trying to push stuff, but I am actually going to take Dawson Knox here.
You need the tight end bad.
I think we need that tight end from Buffalo.
Laporta, is he out in round 1?
I think they have him listed as questionable, leaning to doubtful.
I think that's true also.
I don't think he'll play round 1.
He's
but like I think we're all a lot higher on probably Andrews. I'm higher on Andrews than Laporta.
We have Gibbs already. That would change it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But
only because we have Gibbs, I'm more interested in Laporta. As standalone, I would rather have Andrews. I agree.
Yeah, but for me, I wanted the Buffalo guy because I like Jamal Williams as the Detroit piece.
I just mean if we were
Jamal Williams, huh?
Well, right? The Jay Williams that's on Detroit this year and not last year.
Yeah, you probably got his jersey somewhere.
Jameson Williams. My apologies.
I will say, personally, I actually side more with Reynolds over
Hold on,
Williams.
did I just see Gus Edwards still on the board?
Raymond's out. He's going so late in some of these drafts, man.
Take the Gus bust. That's outrageous.
Okay. I mean, you could say the same thing about David Montgomery.
How many running backs do we have so far? It might be.
I mean,
we have White.
You have like Gibbs, Montgomery.
We have 3 already. I don't know that I can justify this.
I don't know. Gibbs, Montgomery is a
4
sexy,
stone max for running backs, but Gus is really late.
I actually kind of like that idea.
The Gibbs Montgomery.
Yeah,
that's
right,
super
because
in play.
Yeah, because what you're really shooting for there is the idea that no matter what the game script is, you're getting the maximum volume. For
It's fire and ice, the two of them. It is different game scripts. They're nicely inversely correlated, and when one goes off, the other one generally doesn't, and therefore is going to have a lower advance rate getting to the next round. So he's the one you want in the following round. It's perfect.
I think what you're looking for there is Thunder and Lightning, Tiki Barber, and Rondane. Tiki Barber, Rondane.
I am in the Tampa Bay area, so that is something I'm familiar with.
All right, so here it's Shakir or Gabe Davis. I feel like we've covered Buffalo enough that I don't feel like we need Gabe Davis round one.
I agree. I think it's Shakir, if anything.
Okay. I don't really have a super strong lean either way.
Go back to the team real quick. You have Shakir queued up, right?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so we only have 3 receivers. I think that's the problem. That's our weak link right now. So we have Mike Evans. That's a short-term rental. We have Shakir and Diggs. So
true.
That's by far our weak link.
Yeah. So
Gabe Davis is not an option on this team because we started off too weak at wide receiver, I think. Does that make sense?
I don't think I'm not sure we want much of Gabe Davis. I mean, I don't know how many you're going to draft, but unless you're drafting really deep,
that's what I was suggesting. So
that's what Steph was saying here too. Yeah, the injury is pretty scary on him.
Yeah.
So for the same reasons, I think we might want Godwin.
I mean, Godwin makes a lot of sense, but
Michael Gallup.
I mean, I'd take Pickens over Gallup. Pickens has the real possibility.
We have the Steelers.
But I'd take Godwin. It's straight up. I'd take Godwin's if we're looking for another receiver because either Evans or Godwin should produce, even though we're expecting to see quite a bit of potential rain in the game this week.
Yeah, you're right.
But because it's the Monday night, we'll see what it ends up actually looking like.
All right, so we'll take Godwin.
That's 3 Buccaneers, right?
Yeah, that's 3.
And
so
Lions?
Yeah, we have 2 running backs for the Lions.
That's fine.
So I think we definitely take a wide receiver there.
Yep.
And then we think about a third tight end.
We lost Jameson Williams. Did someone take him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
But Brad was talking about
he took Harrison Bryant also.
Yeah, actually, wildly, I like Bryant. I like Allen, because I don't have a lot of faith that Higbee's going to get a full snap share for the Rams. When we're talking about really deep tight ends.
Who else? What other tight ends in the Rams are going to compete?
I think it's just Allen, right?
I don't even know who that is, much less who else could be there.
I am admitting I'm not on. I don't know much about Davis Allen.
All right, we're going to take Josh Reynolds.
I am down a lot of money at Higbee, though. I got to be clear on that. I was a Higbee truther going into this season, and I got fucking buried on that take.
Yo, you want to know who buried me? You know how you were talking about how you didn't draft a lot of people because they were not really set up to play. They were free agents.
Yeah, free agents. Yeah.
I got in so early on DK Best Ball, and I just had all these free tickets for the $1 million contest or whatever. So I drafted a ton of teams. I was 70% Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and
well, then he got signed. I got him before he got signed.
I actually
was oh, this is amazing. He's going to do so good.
I had 0% until the day he got signed, and then I started taking him after that. And I actually thought that team would be competent, and obviously that turned out to be quite wrong. But that's what's so hard about football.
Not an endorsement of Aaron Rodgers, but if he would have been the QB for the whole season, I think they're real contenders. I mean, they've got great people.
It's obviously a whole different world.
All right, so Brock Wright goes there as the late tight end. That
guy has a team of Harrison Bryant, Sam Laporta, and Brock Wright.
Love it.
So we're clear. Just so
Love
we're clear.
Filthy.
That is filthy. You're right. That is
Okay,
exactly.
who are we taking here?
And he's
What are we
taking
doing, Chief?
Jennings. He has like 4 players on a bye with no bye teams.
That's a great question, Brad. We
need a receiver, or we only have 1 tight end. Oh my god, we
have 2 tight ends.
Who are they?
We have Dawson Knox and Dawson Knox,
Okay,
his twin.
Okay, I agree.
I was thinking of the last line.
No agree. No.
I mean, like Otten's still on the board.
Take Schultz. Take Schultz.
Well, hold on. Otten's still on the board, and we have other Tampa pieces.
Yeah, we have other Tampa guys.
No brainer.
I think that is the pick. You mentioned him way
Good
earlier.
call, Brad.
Yeah.
So,
It just seems like a thing.
Maybe I just
Michael,
was already planning on taking him. That's where my second tight end was coming.
You had him starred.
No, we actually had 2 tight ends sniped from us in this draft. So we had them queued up. We had them planned out, but it didn't land.
Yeah.
Yo, I like this. This is a good draft.
Oh, this
is what we're talking about. If the Detroit running game is what wins, we got it, man.
All right. Well, I know you guys could draft all night, but I've been going for another hour plus from that. So thank you guys for being the late shift. Cheers. Any parting words? Because I'm running out of words, I'll be honest.
Dear Lord, if you're with us today, please listen. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tyreek Hill. That's all.
Yeah. Get your money in those League of Legends contests so they don't go away, please. I desperately need people to play League of Legends DFS.
They still run those?
Dude, it's the only way I make money. Come on. I post projections and articles.
If they'd stop running
Twitter.
them at fucking 5 a.m., I'd play them. But
no, there's one at 9 tomorrow morning, and then next week the U.S. will start, and those will be in the afternoon on the weekend.
Actually,
so
all right.
We can really run this up. And then we got Korea and
Nothing
China.
makes me feel more alive than betting on Chinese kids fucking playing video games against each other.
Dude, imagine what it takes for me to do like 200 hours to write an article about preseason rankings and everything, where I'm just like, these children are extremely good at playing.
You're like the high school football coach of DFS kids. So,
dude, I had to watch college games. I had to break apart college games to write preseason because there's so many rookies that have come up in North America this year. It's crazy. All right, thanks a lot, Sheep. Love being on, man.
Yes, thank you guys. Where can you find that stuff, Brad?
I just posted it to Twitter. I have a website, but the easiest way to find me is at freerolls_DFS on Twitter. And you can find Michael at Value Betting ML. And he knocked me out of the World Series of Poker deuce to 7 triple draw in 2014, 2015.
Wait, that's true?
No, I'm just fucking with you. But he's a good poker player. He's a good poker player, and I think you do poker coaching, right?
I do actually. Yes,
I'll vouch for him. Actually, he's I have run into you before, but I'll vouch for him. He's a strong player, and if people are interested in poker, they should check him out. So, thanks again, Sheep.
Yes, thank you guys. Everybody have good luck this weekend. We all can't win, but hopefully somebody wins.
What? I'm in like 30 contests. Literally, we can all win.
Okay, we'll all win this weekend, and all the playoffs. Everybody will win at some point. That's the Sheep Seats guarantee. You just have to have a large enough bankroll to.
Yeah, you just got to keep playing more tournaments. What do you mean? You're eventually going to win.
All right, bye.
Good night.